So guys, a wonderful good morning from Frankfurt, and today I'll be flying Middle East Airlines, short MEA, the flag carrier of Lebanon. They're part of the Sky team, and today I'll be pretty much covering 100% of their fleet because they only operate an Airbus A220 and an Airbus A330. So the first flight from Frankfurt to Beirut is going to be on a 320, and then the second leg from Beirut to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is going to be on their wide-body 330. So I've never flown them really before. I didn't Google them on purpose either, so I'm very curious to see what their onboard product in economy is like. So let's do this. Let's go to Beirut and then continue to Saudi Arabia. So this is also interesting. Iran Air's Airbus A230 is just arriving, and the police is just standing in the jet bridge filming the aircraft arrive. I don't know whether this is for security purposes or for whatever reason, but there's a lot of police. You can see there's police cars down here, the one police officer right there, and this is the Airbus from Iran Air just arriving. I wonder why they have such safety measures in place. If you know, let me know in the comment section below, but it's probably during the current ongoing crisis. Great content requires great sponsors. Due to my very hectic lifestyle, I personally don't have the time anymore to simply sit down and read a book to improve myself. But thanks to today's sponsors Blinkist, this is about to change. Blinkist provides a perfect 15-minute summary with the key takeaway points of over 1,000 non-fiction books. And there's two books I strongly recommend. Mark Manson's Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is probably one of the most favorite books that has helped me to focus on what really matters in life, especially when you run a YouTube channel. I also strongly recommend Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week if you want to improve your working life and do and work in something you really love. So whether you're on a train, you're on a flight, or you're in Uber, you simply put in your headphones and then you consume the book and the most important points of it, which gives you a great learning experience. So the first 100 people who click on the link in the description box below will get a free week of Blinkist, so you can access all the content. And if you want to take the full membership, you will get 25% off. So go check out the link or go to the App Store and download the app right away. I can strongly recommend it. It has helped me a lot, and I'm sure it's going to improve your life as well. So now we're going to go back to the review. Enjoy. Prepare. Thank you. So welcome aboard Middle East Airlines Airbus A220 with 102 seats in economy class in a 3 configuration and 26 in business class. You also have personal entertainment right in front of you, remote control, a foldable table. It's kind of stuck though. I hope I get to fix it during the flight. Also the leg room seems to be alright. When I boarded the airplane, the crew was very nice. Until I got to the very back and I was told off with my camera, and the load isn't too full here. So yeah, so let's see what the next 3.5 hours have in store for me. Also something else I've noticed, you have a footrest down here. Not many airlines anymore feature them. What's also interesting, they have Middle Eastern Airlines is supposed to be the launching customer for the Airbus 321 XLR, or extra long range, which is supposed to be introduced in 2023.
They also have 4 330-900 Neos on order, so they're going through a bit of a renewal of their fleet. They only have 18 aircrafts in total, which makes them probably one of the smallest Sky team members. So this is a little worrying because it's literally my bag sitting out there. I hope there's no issue. So very nice service in economy class. They give out newspapers, got a New York Times and the Daily Star. So that's not the norm usually, hey?
solange das Anschnallzeichen eingeschaltet
يجب أخذ وضعية الانحناء المناسبة. نبدأ رحلتنا بإلقاء نظرة على إرشادات السلامة.
So as you can see, we're taxiing for the runway, and literally every airplane here received a de-icing but us. I don't know why that is. Maybe just because the plane came in an hour ago? Or do you know what the rules are? Why didn't we get a de-icing? Considering the temperatures and considering that everyone else did receive one. Alright guys, now let's enjoy the takeoff out of Frankfurt. Bye Frankfurt.
The in-flight entertainment on MEA is rather disappointing. Whoever is in charge of it has either no budget or really hates his job. You can choose from 30 movies in total, which isn't a lot if you compare it to the offerings of other Sky Team members. But at least the crew gave out headphones, which was a very nice thing to do.
We just reached cruising altitude, and something interesting with the seat is it doesn't recline traditionally, as you know, by leaning backwards, but you literally recline into your own space. So it's kind of like Qatar Airways new economy class, the one they introduced last year at the ITB. It's the same concept, so you have a hard shell, and so the seat pretty much reclines into its own space. So I don't know whether I like it or not, because it takes away a lot from your leg room, but yeah, it's something else. So I also encountered two types of crew on here. The one that says you cannot film, and the other one is like, oh cool, what are you doing? Show me your card. Oh, this is so interesting. Please let me know your feedback after the flight. So if you are planning to use a camera on Middle East Airlines, you might or may not run into troubles. So this is today's lunch. I was offered fish or chicken. First impression is it smells really nice, and I'm sure it just tastes as good. So yeah, let's dig in, because I haven't had breakfast yet and I'm very, very hungry. So let's see. So this was a very lovely meal. I like the chicken, and there was some potato gratin or however you name it. It was very creamy, very lovely, very tasty. The portion was alright, and it came with a side and a dessert. And I also got to point out that the crew is really lovely, apart from the one girl in the galley who doesn't really like me, but yeah, all the other girls are really nice. They've got a big smile. They're trying to look after passengers really well. So yeah. So far, my first impression of MEA is that it seems to be like a pretty decent, hospitable airline. So we just started our descent into Beirut. I will have approximately 90 minutes on the ground, and then I continue on the Airbus A330 to Riyadh, which means I've covered 100% of their fleet since they only operate those two airplanes. And I also let you know what I think of today's flight in Beirut at the airport. I'm going to try to show you around if I have a little bit of time. Yeah, all I can say is it was a very pleasant experience.
والحرارة الخارجية تبلغ 14 درجة مئوية. Für Sie bald wieder an Bord begrüßen dürfen. Vielen Dank.
Welcome to Beirut Rafiq Hariri International Airport. I found the airport to be very modern and welcoming, and also the transit experience was very easy and straightforward. Also the ground personnel was very helpful and kind. A lovely little hub MEA has.
So I made it to Beirut. I'm here at the airport, and while descending into Beirut, it looked like a beautiful, beautiful city. And the airport is also pretty nice. It was a very pleasant flight, loved the food, loved the crew, it was very lovely. Overall, it was a very exciting experience. And now I am at gate number 20 and continue now on the Airbus A330 to Riyadh, which is probably going to be another exciting flight. So let's do it.
So we are now about to board one of the strangest and most unique Airbus A330s I've ever come across. And trust me, I've been on a lot. This Airbus has only two galleys, one in the front and one in the back, something you only find on a narrow body plane. Usually there is at least one or two galleys in the middle of the plane, but not on MEA. This makes a smooth service almost impossible, and passengers have to walk through the entire cabin if they need to visit the lavatory.
So welcome aboard the 330 with 44 seats in business and 200 in economy class. So yeah, it was a bit chaotic at the gate for boarding. Yeah, it's going to be a short flight, 90 minutes or something like that. So pretty much looking forward to that one.
We left Beirut on time for our 90-minute flight to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I'm going to tell you all about the experience by the end of the video, so stick around. Interestingly though, on this flight, they didn't show the flight map. I assume it has something to do with the fact that we flew over Syrian airspace. What do you think? It was also my first time to Saudi Arabia. My visa was approved in less than 10 minutes, and apart from the fact that Saudi Arabia has some very questionable people in charge, I met a lot of very kind and welcoming individuals, and that includes women as well.
So I made it on my hotel here at the Hyatt, right in the heart of Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. It's so cool that the country finally opened up, and I can't wait to explore it tomorrow. To sum up today's flight, the first flight was very lovely. Loved the 320 experience, the crew was lovely, it was all great until I got on the 330. This is probably the worst configured 330 I've ever flown. Because the funny thing is, there's only two galleys, one in the very front of the airplane and one right in the back. And in between there is a long stretch of economy class. It merges into business class, so it's only separated by a curtain. So there's no galley in the middle. So every time people have to go to the bathroom, they either have to go all the way to the back, especially for the economy class passengers. And you can imagine now running the service, they're gonna go all the way to the front of the economy class, and people run through and whatever. It was the most chaotic scenes I've ever seen on an airplane. It was interesting. And then also there was those drunk Saudi guys who would always lose their mind when a female cabin crew walked past. They would whistle and they would shout things. It was like a bazaar. It was like scenes that are not that common usually. It was fun. Like, the crew was nice and lovely, but they were also like totally overwhelmed by the chaotic scenes and that people were running through, and it took forever to collect the tray. I'm not complaining. It's different. It's like, it's a different environment. It's a totally different configured airplane. I don't know why they do it, but it's definitely not very comfortable for passengers, crew, and for anyone. So it's not very convenient. So that was the thing that stood out most. The food then though was lovely, and overall it was a very lovely trip. I really enjoyed my day. Also though the second flight was a bit of an adventure, I still enjoyed it. But like, yeah, if you ever fly on their 330, just be prepared. Be prepared for something else. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Middle Eastern or Middle East Airlines, and have you flown with them? How was your experience? Subscribe if you haven't yet, and yeah, guys, appreciate your support. So wherever you're off to, have a safe trip.